Hey guys, welcome to Mystifying Miracles. I'm Kristen, and today the story involves a man in 1971 who pretty much has a car crash, or, well, that's confusing. We'll just say he claims that a crash was supposed to happen, but the car passed right through him. I'm going to get into it. Stay tuned. Victor Cooper, he had turned 17 in 1971, and his folks got him his first car. So obviously, Victor was ecstatic. It was a powder blue 1963 Oldsmobile F-85. Every Saturday morning that came, Victor would get up, he'd wash his car, wax it, have it looking nice to cruise around in for the weekend. His family lived in a Cincinnati suburb of Norwood. Our story brings us to a summer afternoon, and 17-year-old Victor's just cruising along. He's coming upon a green light. He turns his car left on Rhode Island Street, and that's when he sees a vehicle coming from his left out of his peripheral vision. Now, Victor assumed, the guy will brake, because the guy has a red light, right? But that's not what happened. Now, Victor says that, hey, I give the benefit of the doubt to the guy. Maybe at the time he was changing the radio station or, momentary lapse in judgment. Who knows? But for whatever reason, that man did not slow down. In fact, he was speeding up. And he was going through that light. Victor states that this guy was right on course to T-bone Victor's car at full force. And Victor makes sure to say in the story, he says, this was not a possibility. This was a 100% certainty that is what was about to happen. In addition, Victor states in the story that, many people out there tend to use the term miracle way too loosely. But on this day, a miracle is the only word that can describe what happened. And also very important as well that only the hand of God could have done what did happen. So this car is right on track to T-bone Victor's as he's going through the light, speeding up. And just as he's about to hit him, get this, the car literally passes right through Victor's. Not swerve around, not make a turn, passes through Victor's. Victor used the term like you think of Casper the Friendly Ghost going through walls, the little cartoon guy. That's what this car did, right through him. As this is occurring, Victor remembers seeing the guy's face. The guy happened to be about the same age as Victor, probably 17, 18 years old. And as the car is going through his, he says both of their faces were no more than maybe 18 inches apart. And he says ingrained in his mind, Victor's, is the look on this guy's face of complete shock and disbelief of what was occurring in that moment. And he can only assume that that's the exact same look that was on his own face as the guy looked at him. Victor states that during this time as well, that time slowed considerably. And right after it was done, the car passes through him. Both cars just stop, like, whoa, what did we just experience? He said both guys, Victor got out of his car, the other guy got out of his. They turned around to look at each other, still with complete shock and awe of what just occurred. And then that was it. There was so much shock and disbelief that it was just like they both get in their cars to go on their, respective ways. Victor often wonders about that man. He says, I wish I knew who he was or where he was today. Because, obviously they both experienced this, and it would just be amazing to find whoever this man was. Or, whatever became of him. Well, after Victor gets back in his car that day, he drives 2 blocks to a gas station and he just sits there in silence, thinking and trying to comprehend and understand all that had just occurred. He knew in his heart, though, despite him not understanding it, he knew, though, in his heart that he had just experienced divine intervention. There never was any damage to his car. He got out at the gas station, did his rounds around his car, no dents, no scratches, no nothing. And it was several years that passed after this incident in 71 before he could even tell anybody. And the reason being, he thought people would think he was crazy or being sensationalistic. So he had a struggle, for several years to even tell his testimony of that. Years after this happened, Victor did become a Baptist clergyman, and he even ended up sharing his story and testimony with 2 different congregations, standing in the pulpit telling his experience and his story. He said some would kind of nod, being polite, but just kind of nod in disbelief. And then there were others that sat there with hope, filled with hope that, yes, this story, I hope it's true. But in the end, they couldn't accept it or believe it because it was just so unbelievable, I guess you could say. But I love how Victor puts it in Mark 10:27, where it states, with God, all things are possible. All things. Not some things, the little things, maybe some big things. No, all things. After one of the services that he spoke at one of the congregations, there were many people that ended up coming up to Victor and told him that, I believe you. I believe your story and your testimony. And there were so many that began sharing their own testimonies with him of miraculous things that they had experienced or that had happened in their lives or their families' lives. And Victor says he chose to believe them, just like he hoped that they would believe his true story, because he knows what happened in his life long ago in a Cincinnati suburb. So knowing what happened to him, he knows that those people are telling their testimonies, and he chose to believe them as well. But what a story, guys. Can you imagine? Like, I thought about this after the fact. I was like, I wonder if there were any cars around that experienced and saw that way back in 71, when that occurred at that light on, I think it said Rhode Island Street. That would have just been so amazing to see. What an incredible story. I hope this testimony of Victor's was a blessing to you, and I hope you guys are having an incredible week. I appreciate you watching and enjoying these stories as much as I do. Thank you so much, and I'm going to see you guys next time.